What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? In this video, we are going to walk through over 70 different iOS 10 features. So let's get started. The first feature is new wallpaper. Obviously, with every new iOS iteration, you get a new wallpaper, and this one is no different. iOS 10 features this wallpaper right here, which is available on the iPad as well. Now, there's a new look for folders. You're going to notice it's subtle. If you're not paying attention, you may miss it, but now you have a translucent view of the home screen app icons, and the animation that occurs when you open and close folders has changed. Now, there's a stronger font type as well. You'll notice that the font isn't nearly as thin as it was on previous versions of iOS. Now it's a little bolder. And personally, I felt that the font was too thin on previous versions of iOS, so this is a welcome change in my opinion. The next feature is Raise to Wake. A lot of people complained that Touch ID 2 on the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus was way too fast. When they touched or when they pressed their home button, it would automatically dismiss all their notifications. They wouldn't be able to see what was going on. Now you don't have to worry about that because you just pick up your phone now and it automatically wakes up and you can see your notifications right on the lock screen without having to press the home button at all. So pretty nice. You can also remove stock applications. That's right, you can remove stock applications like iTunes Store, the Mail app, reminders, notes, the list goes on and on. Now, not all apps are eligible to be removed, but for instance, the Mail app can be removed, and when you remove it, beware because once you do, you're not going to be able to tap Mail to links to send email, for instance. Let me show you what I mean right here. So, there are some downsides to removing some stock applications. Like, for instance, if I tap that Mail to link, it's going to tell me, hey, you need the Mail app. Yeah, you can't use third-party apps in place of the stock apps. Doesn't work that way, at least not yet. So just head over to the App Store and then tap the Cloud button and re-enable the app that you removed. And you're ready to go. Pretty simple. So let's just swipe over, find the Mail app, and then we can just move it right back over to its proper location in the dock. So in other words, when you remove a stock app, there's no need to worry. You can always get it back by going back to the App Store. I'm going to remove the Tips app because I know I won't need that. And now it's gone. Now here's something that may be a little controversial. The App Store now features ads. Yes, advertisements in the App Store. When you perform a search, at the very top, you may see an advertisement like this. But the good news is that the advertisements are displayed just like normal App Store listings. So you're not going to get anything funky looking in there or any weird, crazy advertisements. They just look like normal App Store listings. So you won't have to worry about overly intrusive ads. In iOS 10, there is a smaller Back to App button in the status bar. Previously, the Back to App button displayed the full application name, which cramped up the status bar, caused certain things within the status bar to be hidden. This fixes that problem. Now you just tap the little arrow in the upper left-hand corner, and you can go back to app. In iOS 10, Siri gets a more prominent settings panel. Previously, it was buried down underneath the general section of the settings app. Now, when you open up settings, Siri has its very own panel, complete with its own special Siri graphic, but all the settings inside are pretty much the same as they have been. If you're running macOS Sierra, you will now find a desktop folder within iCloud Drive, which contains synced desktop content from your Mac. In the Notes app on iOS 10, you'll find a new Shared Notes button in the upper right-hand corner. Tapping that allows you to add people to collaborate on notes. And as you can see at the bottom here, you can share the special iCloud links it creates to a variety of different services. FaceTime connects way faster in iOS 10. Notice this. Freaky fast. Now, if you own an Apple Watch, you're going to enjoy the new updates to the Watch app. Not only can you go in and build your own watch face, which is really nice. You don't have to do that on that really tiny screen of the Apple Watch. You can also browse the face gallery, which allows you to see all of the different watch faces, how they'll look. You can go in there and select the watch face. That is really nice to be able to do that on a large screen like the iPhone, instead of having to do that on your 38mm or 42mm watch. Now, in previous versions of iOS, the Mail, Contacts, and Calendar pane was one single pane that contained all three settings within that one panel. Well, now in iOS 10, they have been broken up. Now, Mail, Contacts, and Calendar has its own settings panel within the Settings app. Really nice. iOS 10 adds support for Apple Pay on the web, and although I'm not able to demonstrate that for you right now, you will find a switch for Check for Apple Pay inside of Safari's preferences, hinting at the upcoming feature. Now, the Contacts app got a nice, fresh new coat of paint. You see the blue buttons there, but that's not all. In the future, you're going to see integration with third-party applications for contacting and staying in touch with your friends and family. If you go into the Settings app and select Videos, you're going to find a new video playback quality setting to allow you to adjust the amount of data used while watching videos. Now, Control Center got a pretty big update in iOS 10. Obviously, what sticks out is the splash of color that you have on things like the rotation lock buttons and the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi buttons. But that's not all. Now, AirPlay mirroring is called AirPlay Screen, and it has its own dedicated button. You just tap there, and you can quickly mirror your screen to an Apple TV. But that's not all. If you swipe over, you get your own dedicated music controls, and AirPlay audio and video are now separate and feature their own little nook here. You can access that by tapping the disclosure triangle. There's also 3D touch shortcuts available for quick launch apps. So if you 3D touch here on the flashlight, you can change the intensity of the flashlight. You can change it to low, medium, or high intensity right there on the fly. Works really well. And you can also 3D touch on the timer to set a specific timer interval. You can 3D touch on the calculator to copy the last result, and you can 3D touch on the camera to take a photo, record slow-mo, record a video, or take a selfie. Now, if you're on your home screen and you swipe down from the top of the status bar, you're going to invoke Notification Center. And in iOS 10, it's standalone. There is no Today view. There are no widgets. When you're on your home screen and you invoke Notification Center, you can't swipe to the left or to the right to access the Today view, for instance. But if you're not on your home screen, say you're within an app, and you swipe down from the top of the status bar to invoke Notification Center, you will be able to swipe over from the left side of the screen. You see the little dots there indicating you can swipe over. So you will be able to swipe over and access all of your widgets just like that. This is only when you're within an app. It doesn't work that way when you're at the home screen. The reason why that is because when you're on the home screen, you simply swipe from the left side of the screen to view all of your widgets, just like that. So that's why that is. So basically, they're separate when you're on the home screen, and when you're in an app, they are sort of combined. It's kind of weird, takes some getting used to. You can still swipe down while in the Today view or the widget view to access your notifications. It takes some getting used to, trust me, but I'm sure we'll get used to it. And speaking of widgets, now when you 3D touch on certain applications, you see a widget that you can add to your Today view or the widgets view or whatever they're calling it these days. You can also add new widgets just by opening up your widgets view and then scrolling to the bottom and selecting edit. You'll see a whole bunch of new widgets in here like up next and map destinations, all sorts of new things that you'll find in here that wasn't in the older versions of iOS. So exciting stuff here if you're a fan of widgets. See the Siri app suggestions, the music widget, kind of cool. Now, Spotlight Search is still here in a major way. You can access it from your widgets view. Not only that, but you can access it by swiping down on the home screen, just like that. And you can still access it from Notification Center. Also, did you notice Spotlight Search History? Notice here, you're going to see some history items right there. With iOS 10, you get enhanced interactive notifications. So it's not just one single reply from a message, for instance, but it's more like the Apple Watch where you can continue to hold a conversation within a quick reply easily. That is so much better than the previous way where it would just disappear after you send one reply and then you would have to actually go into the message app. If you're a big fan of quick reply, you're going to love the new enhanced interactive notifications on iOS 10. But of course, that's not all. That's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. You have unlimited Safari tabs now. So that literally means unlimited. There's no longer this arbitrary limit. I think it was like 30 or something, 32, something around there. Well, now you can continue to hit the plus sign to add an unlimited, literally an unlimited amount of Safari tabs. I mean, I'm just continuing to press the plus button and it's continuing to add more and more tabs. Fingers getting tired. I'm serious, it's unlimited. Yeah, it's unlimited. So you can just continue to scroll over like that. I don't know who would do this, who in their right mind would have this many tabs open, but fact of the matter is you can have unlimited tabs in Safari in iOS 10. Let's open up the tab view here and let's see what we have. Crazy. That's nuts. Now, you also have Safari split view, which is really cool, something that we've been wanting. So if you tap and hold on a link, you can tap open in split view and view two Safari windows side by side. And the nice thing about this is that you have two separate address bars and two separate tab bars. So these are literally two different instances of Safari that you can independently control. Now, iMessage has a new media attachment interface, and it's extremely robust. You're going to love this. So when I tap the little camera button here, not only do I see a live view of my camera, and I can just tap there to take a photo, and it will automatically show up right there in my message compose window. And then, of course, I can tap that to disable live photos or tap the X to get rid of it. So that's really nice. But you also have all of your pictures here as well. So if I just tap a picture, I can add a picture to the compose window. I can also swipe over, access my full camera, access my full photo library if I want to do that. But I'm going to add some more pictures here. So you just literally tap like that and it adds pictures. And you can also mix and match live pictures or pictures that you just took with your photos that are already existing in your photo library. And they just simply appear in your compose window. And then just tap the send button and it sends those pictures just like that. Now you can also mark up images directly in iMessage. So I'm going to take a new picture and I'm going to mark that picture up right here on the fly. So just take the photo, it's going to appear in my compose window. Then I just tap on the photo and then I can tap edit to edit the photo, or if I want to, I can mark it up by tapping the markup button like this. And there are my markup tools. So I can draw on it. I can use my magnifier if I want to. I'm just going to draw, and you can see you can smooth it out. So all the markup tools that you're familiar with in the Apple ecosystem, you can do. All right, so I'm going to put some text in here. Maybe I'll just tell them to fix this. All right, I think we're done. Just tap save and then tap done. All right, so if I'm satisfied with the image, I can just tap done and it appears in my compose window with all the markup there. Just tap send and it sends it. Now here's one of my favorite new updates. Inline YouTube playback. Just paste in the URL, send it. It automatically expands the link. Tap play, starts playing inline right in the message. You don't have to leave and open up the YouTube app or any of that. You can if you tap the little text at the bottom, but you don't have to. You can watch the full video within the iMessage thread, just like that. But it's not just videos. It also works with web links. Paste in a web link like that. Tap send. And it expands the web link, gives you an image, which can make it much easier to discern what the link contains. Now, iMessage doesn't stop there. You now have digital touch in iMessage. Yes. The Apple Watch inspired functionality is now in iMessage. So just tap the little digital touch button there. And I'm going to show you some really cool stuff here. So let's tap that. So here's the digital touch interface. You have all your colors. You can switch to the colors if you want to. You can, of course, draw right here on the black screen, similar to the Apple Watch. Tap high or draw high, and it automatically just shoots up to the recipient just like that. Now, you can change colors just by tapping the little color. Can draw, and you see on the right side you get some tips on things you can do. So if you tap and hold, you can send like a little fireball, or I don't know what that's supposed to be, but something. And if you single tap, you just send the little circles, very similar to the Apple Watch, of course, and the recipient receives them. Now there's some other gestures. If you two-finger tap, you send a little kiss, which can be cool for that very special someone. And if you two-finger tap and then swipe down, you can send a heart that is breaking. So if you're having a fallout with someone, I guess you can send that to them. So digital touch really does spice up iMessage significantly, but it doesn't end there. This is just really the tip of the iceberg because you can actually combine digital touch with photos and videos. Let me show you how right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap the little disclosure triangle in the bottom right-hand corner there. And now you see the full screen view for digital touch. Of course, you can draw, etc. And this is for if you want to draw more detailed stuff, because it's not going to automatically disappear and send. You can actually change colors and really compose something nice. But if you tap the little video button in the bottom left-hand corner, you can actually draw right there on the screen. And you can take a video or photo, and those drawings are going to appear alongside that video or photo. So once you're done, you can just hit the send button, and that digital touch enabled photo or video is going to send to your friend. That is pretty awesome. Very Snapchat-esque. All right, so they're going to see exactly what you drew on the photo or video that you took. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? Now, there's also iMessage bubble effect. So when you send a message, instead of just tapping the send button, tap and hold, and then you can swipe up and choose 4 different bubble effects. You can choose send with slam. You can choose loud, quiet, invisible ink. So it's send with the slam there. Let's try another. I'm going to do it gentle. I said quiet. It's actually called gentle. Okay. And let's try one more. Let's try loud. Bam. So there's loud. Now let's try that invisible ink, but instead I'm going to use a photo. So you can actually combine these message bubbles with media. So tap and hold, select invisible ink, tap send. So now when the recipient gets it, they need to swipe on the screen to reveal my photo. Element of surprise, right? You got to admit, that's really cool. But it doesn't end there. There are full screen effects as well. So let's talk about those. So I'm going to send a message. Congrats. All right. And then just tap and hold the send button. And now instead, you want to tap where it says screen, and you can swipe over to switch between your full screen effects. So I like that one right there. And here's what it sounds like. Now, if you don't want to send a full reply to someone, use iMessage Tap Back. Simply double tap on a bubble and select the appropriate response. It works for media, as you can see there, and of course, it works for normal messages as well. Great for quick replies. Now, the App Store for iMessage brings stickers, GIFs, and other apps directly to iMessage. So with iOS 10, Apple has included a default sticker pack. They've also included a couple of apps. So you have the classic Mac stickers. You have an image app, which allows you to search for GIF images to send to your friends. And there's also Apple Music. So here is the classic Apple sticker pack. You can just send a sticker like that. And third parties will be able to create stickers. So you're going to get all the Facebook Messenger-like stickers. You can send links directly to Apple Music, which features inline playback within the iMessage thread, which is awesome. So if you have a friend or family member who subscribes to Apple Music, you can quickly send them Apple Music tracks and allow them to listen right within the message thread without leaving iMessage. And like I mentioned, Apple has included in iOS 10 a built-in GIF app for iMessage. So that means you can find all of your favorite GIFs and memes and send them directly to your friends via iMessage without leaving the app, without having to invoke some weird third-party keyboard or anything like that. This is really, really cool, folks. It's really going to spice up your iMessage conversations. I'm telling you. Trust me on this one. Now, another new feature that you'll find in iMessage is tap to replace emojis. So after you've typed a message, you can tap the language button to switch to the emoji keyboard, and it will automatically identify words within your message that can be replaced by emoji. So all I'm going to do is tap the language button. Watch what happens here. See, all those words are highlighted. That means that I can tap on those words and find an appropriate emoji to replace it with. Choose that one. Just like that. Awesome, right? Now, I normally keep read receipts disabled, but in iOS 10, you can now enable per conversation read receipts, which is great when you're sending messages to that special someone. Keyboard contextual predictions can automatically predict what you may want to type next. So I typed in Jeff's email is, and it's automatically going to fill in my email address. I just tap the quick type bar right here to insert my email address. There's also a more subdued keyboard click sound. Multilingual typing allows you to switch between languages on the fly by harnessing the power of QuickType without actually having to switch keyboards. So notice, right now I'm typing in English, I start typing in Spanish, and then notice QuickType. It automatically fills in Spanish words like that. Now, of course, I have no idea what I'm saying right here, but for those of you who speak multiple languages, it can speed up typing. Now, the stock calendar app receives some attention as well. You get found events, time to leave, and location suggestions. I can't demonstrate those last two, but for the first one, I can demonstrate. Found events suggest events found in the Messages app or in the Mail app and let you add them with ease. So that one event was found. You can see the name of the event and the time is automatically populated. So I just tap Add to add the event. The Mail app's new conversation view makes it easy to view individual responses in an email thread. So you just tap the disclosure triangle and then you can tap that individual response to single out each message. And now you can quickly filter email by tapping the filter button, tapping filtered by, and selecting a filter. With all the real estate available on the iPad Pro, it seems silly to have a message composition view like this where it's taking up the whole screen. Of course, you can swipe down and access other contents in your mail, but wouldn't it be nice if you could just do that? Yes, now you have side-by-side mail composition so you can compose and access other email at the same time. There's also a new mailbox column button, which lets you hide and show all of your email folders. Not sure where to move that mail message? Well, iOS 10 will now suggest the folder to move it to. And in the Settings app, you can also move the most recent message to the top of your email threads. And what about unsubscribing from mailing lists directly from the Mail app? Yep, iOS 10 has that now as well. The Clock app, of all apps, got a lot of love in iOS 10. Now it features a dark theme, which kind of makes sense since you may be looking at the Clock app at nighttime. But along with that dark theme, you get a new stopwatch face. You get a new chronograph face like this. And I have to admit, it looks way better than the old digital face, which was extremely plain and just, basic. But for those of you who do like that, you can still swipe over and access that. No big deal, right? That said, I'll be sticking to this one. But the biggest new feature in iOS 10's Clock app is the new bedtime alarm, which is a brand new section. It actually can integrate with the Help app to analyze your sleep. It's not going to do a whole bunch of robust things, but it will let you select days of the week that you want to monitor your sleep. You can choose when to remind you to go to bed, the wake up sound, the volume of the alarm clock, and you can monitor your history. And like I said, it does integrate with the Health app, although it's not as robust as some of the dedicated sleep apps out there. Now, this was mentioned earlier, but remember in Control Center, you can now 3D touch on the timer to select a specific timer interval just like that. And those of you with HomeKit enabled devices will be happy to know that it's not just a preference panel anymore, but now you actually have a dedicated home app in iOS 10. And this is a first-party home app. So this comes with iOS 10. You can set up and name your home. You can set up rooms. Of course, you can establish all your different accessories and configure them. And there's even automation, which will utilize your Apple TV as an in-home accessory hub. And you can also go in and customize the look of the home app as well. So if you don't like the wallpaper that it chooses by default, you can go in and customize that wallpaper, perhaps even taking a picture of the actual room that you're controlling via this application. So I'm going to take a picture here, use that photo, and that will be set as the wallpaper for this particular room. So the Home app is a great new addition. You don't have to rely on any third-party apps anymore to control your HomeKit devices. Great new addition to iOS 10. The Health app receives some love in iOS 10 as well. You get some new sections at the top of the Health Data tab, so you get activity, mindfulness, nutrition, sleep, and each of those sections has its own new video. Now, these videos aren't actually playable right at this second, but these videos will help you to understand how to use the Health app in the particular sections therein. One change you'll like is that there is now an Export Health Data button prominently located at the bottom of the Health Data section. Previously, you would have to use the Share button to export health data. This makes it a little more clear and straightforward. And not to be outdone by the Health app, the Activity app now features a new tab for sharing. Yes, you can share activity data for some extra friendly competition and perhaps some additional motivation to get moving. In iOS 10, the worthless Explore tab found at the bottom of the App Store interface is now replaced by, yes, the Categories tab. Yes, the Categories tab is now back. It should have never left. The Explorer tab should have never been here, but all is well now. We have it back, and it's great. I never understood why the Music app did not support split view in iOS 9, but no worries. iOS 10 brings support for split view in the Music app on the iPad. One of the most frustrating things about using the Music app on the iPad was the lack of split view, and now it's here, so I'm probably going to use the Music app a lot more now. iOS 10 brings a new automatic downloads feature to the Music app, which can be enabled via the Settings app. Now, this will make it so that whenever you add a new album or a song to your library, it will download that song or album as well, so that it's accessible while offline. So let me just show you right here. I'm going to add this song to my library, and you're going to see it start to download immediately, just like that. Running low on space. Now you can quickly manage downloaded music in the Music section of the Settings app. So just go to Music, Downloaded Music. You can see all of your songs there. You can swipe to delete individual songs if you wish to, like that. Or you can delete all songs if you want to, like that. You can also optimize storage for music so that you can set a minimum storage level for the music on your iPad. So say you want to keep at least 8 gigabytes of music on your iPad or iPhone at any given time, you can select the 8 gigabyte option. You can select 64 gigabytes if you have that much space available, etc. Now the Music app interface in itself has been completely, and I mean completely overhauled. The main tab, the Library tab, gives you all your playlists, your artists, your albums, your songs, downloaded music, a lot less convoluted. You can go in, you can even edit what sections are displayed here. You have your downloaded music. So if I tap edit here, I can go in and enable or disable certain sections. I can rearrange them using the drag handles if I wish to do that. So you can see I simplified that, removed the song section, and all my recent stuff is down here as well, just like that. If I tap the For You tab, you're going to see all of my recently played stuff at the top. So you can swipe through there if you want to. And it looks like Apple's trying to kind of be a little bit like Spotify. They have a daily playlist. So today's Tuesday. It has Tuesday's playlist here, assuming that tomorrow you'll have Wednesday's playlist. The Browse tab contains all of the new music, curated playlists, top charts. You can swipe through here, of course, and see all of the new albums and popular albums. Curated playlist contains featured playlists at the top, followed by activity playlists, and then curated playlists, and then genre-based playlists as well. And the radio tab is pretty much what you would expect. Beats 1 is prominently featured there at the top, and you can swipe through and find different types of radio stations as well. And lastly, you have your search, and you can search Apple Music or your own local library. And the Now Playing interface is completely changed, simpler looking. You have a slider there for volume. You have your album artwork, which gets big when music is playing and kind of shrinks down a little bit when music is paused. And if you swipe up, you'll see Up Next. I don't have anything up next currently. So what we'll do is we'll go and add something to Up Next. How about that? So I'll just 3D touch here, play next, go back to my Now Playing, and then I'm going to swipe up, and now you see Up Next right there below. Eventually, Apple's going to add lyrics as well, so you'll be able to access lyrics by swiping up, and that's coming in the future. But as you can see, quite a bit has changed with Apple Music in iOS 10. And the Photos app gets some new features as well, such as memories, which allow you to create montages based on like photos and videos. You can choose the type of music, choose how long it is right there on the fly. It's super easy. So here's one that it automatically put together from a trip that we took to Manhattan last year. So let's check it out. The Photos app also gets much smarter search in iOS 10. The search enhancements include the ability to search on different objects and people and places. As you can see here, I just search for high-rise, and it can search and find all the high-rise buildings right there in my photo library. If I search for, I don't know, dog, it'll find all the dogs. If I search for action figures like here, it'll find all the action figures like my little duck here, and it's all done locally. What about being able to edit live photos? Well, yep, in iOS 10, you can now edit live photos. You can see right now, This photo is a live photo, and I just go in and I'm going to edit something. How about the shadows? I'll adjust the shadows and you can see I'm editing that. Tap done. It's saving it, retaining its live photo status. So now I can enjoy my live photos in a whole new way. You can also use live filters for live photos. So I can enable a filter right here and take a live photo. You can see live photo is enabled. And I can go in and I can view that live photo with the filter applied. I can even go in and edit that live photo, change up the filter if I want to, right there on the fly, and retain the live photo status. So just tap filters, and now I'm changing up the filter, and still retain its live photo status. Awesome. Earlier, I showed you how to mark up images in iMessage, so it's probably no surprise that you can mark up images within the Photos app. All you need to do is go in and edit, and then tap the extensions button. You will need to turn off live photos to enable markup though, so keep that in mind. But now I can draw on my photo, I can magnify areas of my photo, I can add text to my photos, just like that. iOS 10 brings improved auto enhancement and a new brilliance adjustment slider when editing photos. So just go to Light, tap Brilliance, and now I can change the brilliance. The News app gets a new app icon in iOS 10. It also gets a new look and feel, much bolder headline text. iOS 10 brings new favorite sorting options to the News app, so you can sort by name, most recent, or most visited. No surprise there, right? The Maps app got a huge update. It got a full overhaul as far as look and feel, the ability to set in between destinations, integration with third-party applications, so you can, for instance, hail a Uber, other stuff like the ability to reroute based on traffic. You have weather in your particular location where you're zoomed in on. You can remember where you parked your car. Like I said, there's just so much to cover here. I don't really have time to go through all of it. We'll have more on the Maps app in a future update, but safe to say it is a massive update, the biggest update ever for Maps by far. And like I said, you can integrate third-party applications now with the Maps app, which is downright awesome. And last but not least, Swift Playgrounds is an iPad iOS 10 app that allows you to learn the basics of code, the fundamentals of Swift, and it'll be free. And that's the last thing I'm going to touch on in this particular video. We've talked over a half hour, and we haven't even touched on all of the features in iOS 10. We've talked about a lot of them, but there's still plenty to talk about. In the meantime, what is your favorite iOS 10 feature? Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. This is Jeff with 9to5Mac.